So 9/11 was my second day of 8th grade. So I already knew what school I was going to. That school was 100 Trinity Place, right across the street from the Twin Towers. Yeah, we wasn't having that. You maybe lose sight sometimes of like, yo, it only really takes one. Maybe not to change everything, but to change something.
Hello, my fellow Martians. My name is Harry Mars, and this is the On Mars Pod, where we take a deep dive into creative professionals, entrepreneurs, and other inspiring Martians alike.
Company name, I can do this for you. These are my packages, blah, blah. No, bro, you should never have a logo before you got a portfolio. Seeing that process, being a part of that process, it kind of led me to, off the money that I made off execution, I bought my first camera. Entrepreneurial advice, you want to be able to do anything good? Create a system, create a process. You do it once, like, okay, you did that. You do it twice, 3 times, like that's what you do.
Hello, my fellow Martians. Today on Mars, we are joined by an entrepreneur, videographer, and a multi-hyphenate creative. We got Weezle, aka Work Wit Weezle. Thank you for being here, bro.
Yeah. My pleasure, bro. My pleasure. I love it.
Yes,
Already.
Sir. So it's been a long time coming, like I said, bro. So we got a lot of mutual friends, Futuristic, Kaleidoscope Kid, the Real Kyrie.
Yeah.
There's so many people like that. In doing research, I realized we're pretty connected.
Yeah, bro. Right? It's wild. It's wild.
Yeah, but I do think that there's something about being in creative fields. You end up just like meeting people in the circles. So
yeah,
I've been out here in Phoenix for quite a long time. So
yeah,
that
bro.
makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Basically, like split my life in half at this point. You know what I'm saying? Originally from New York, but half of my life has been out here. So
exactly
the circle, I got a lot of close friends. It's a very tight knit circle. But as I've kind of done more in the creative space, you meet more creatives.
Yep.
And so we get those
connections,
weird relationships that like, it's like, oh, bro, whoa, how are we not friends?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
for sure, man.
We know everybody. So,
But then when we do meet, it's like we're immediately friends.
Facts.
And that's the cool part about
Facts.
these people doing it at a high level around us. So I'm thankful to be surrounded by the people we are, man.
Yeah,
for sure.
No, for sure.
So on Mars, we take a deep dive into creative professionals, entrepreneurs, and other inspiring Martians alike. So I had to have you on here, man, because like I said, you've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So from the beginning, though, you said you grew up in New York.
Yeah.
So growing up in New York, what was around you there? What was like the influences around you? What were you doing?
I mean, it's really like just the hustle and bustle of the city and you see a little bit of everything, right? So like this block is maybe I'm Puerto Rican, so this block might be Puerto Rican, the next block might be Dominican, and the next block might be Asian, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, I felt like that was always cool to me, but then it was also weird when I moved out here where sometimes a little bit of racial divide is more,
yeah, probably.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so like, I never really knew what that was until kind of came out west, and then just the times, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, like being in New York, I mean, again, one block is this, one block is that, one block looks like this, the next block kind of looks way more extravagant. You know what I'm saying? You take a train, a couple stops, and then you're in the middle of the capital of the world, it feels like sometimes, in New York City. So that was really like probably the best part about being in New York. It was like, you see so much.
Absolutely.
You
Living
know?
in like a busy city like that. I mean, yeah. So what was your passions, I guess, growing up, like in school and stuff like that? What were you doing, like sports or whatever? What were you doing?
Yeah, man, baseball. Like I said,
Hell
Puerto
yeah.
Rican,
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
man,
So I got
dude.
busy
I'm
when I
Puerto
was young.
Rican too, bro.
Oh,
So,
I didn't even know that.
100%, dude.
What? Oh, interview just got 10 times better. It was baseball. You know what I'm saying?
That makes
Like,
sense, dude.
I'm pretty much like the first generation of internet user, I feel like. So a lot of it was AOL, Instant Messenger, and like that's what it was, bro, growing up. So running around the neighborhood, playing. I actually came to Arizona after 9/11. My mom sent me.
Okay.
So in New York, you apply to whatever school you're going to in 7th grade. So 9/11 was my second day of 8th grade.
Wow.
So I already knew what school I was going to.
Yeah.
That school was 100 Trinity Place, right across the street from the Twin Towers. Yeah, we wasn't having that. So yeah, and then I did do a semester in high school, and I was just basically like, nah, this ain't for me. Like at 16, I think you could drop out in New York. So I was pretty openly telling my mom, like, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna do this. So I had an aunt that was living out here. She was like, yeah, send him, let him come chill. And I got here and I went to Mesquite High School.
Okay.
It's like a college, bro. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like football fields, basketball gym, multiple buildings. I'm like, the school I went to in New York didn't even have windows. And so I'm walking around like, yo, this is a crazy life.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, it worked out. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah, man. So then the creative stuff, was that already bubbling up before you moved out?
I felt like, so creatively, the imagination was always there, right?
Yeah.
Whether it was like building websites or like, in
Yeah.
AOL pages, and then when MySpace and
yes.
you know what I'm saying? So like the creativity was kind of always there, but I guess it really didn't get unlocked until I moved out here and I met my friends, my circle of friends, and they were doing music.
Yeah.
So at the time, I was the only one with a car. So I was basically like the hype man. You know what I'm saying? We're going to burn the CDs, play them in my whip. Like, there's 7 of us in this 2-door Thunderbird. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I was the one. I was a supporter. And then one day it was just like, yo, hop on something. And yeah, the rest is history after that point.
Dang. So they told you like, yo, you should start rapping, or like you already had a desire? Or
I don't know if I really ever had a true desire to be like, yo, I want to rap.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'll try it. Like,
yeah,
somebody missed the sessions. Like, yo, we got to open first. Get on this. You overthink it. You're like, what do I talk about? What do I say?
Right.
And I guess I was just a natural. You know what I'm
saying?
Hell
yeah. I guess it was within, bro.
It was in me. You know what I'm saying?
So that was Misfit Entertainment Group, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Come on, man. I do my research.
Whoa. Okay. Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, making music as Weezle the Misfit, you know what I'm saying? You kind of did make some waves out here. You know, you started in, what was it, like early 2010s, essentially. And then 2015, I think it was, you came out with, what was the song that, I wrote it down, actually. It was Execution.
Yeah, Execution is,
that was,
Harry, you're good, bro.
That was good. It was a big one, man, because that was your first song off your first album that went on radio. You got, some recognition. Yeah. And you were, I feel like at that point, it puts probably like a battery in your back and kind of showed you that like, hey, man, I could do this at a high level if I really try. For
sure, man. Execution it's definitely the most success I ever had off any type of record. From like the song itself, the video, the feedback, opening doors, a little bit is kind of like, especially with music, you got to show and prove a little bit.
Absolute.
So when Execution came out, that was the first music video I had ever really shot. And it's funny how it played out, because seeing that process, being a part of that process, it kind of led me to, off the money that I made off Execution, I bought my first camera. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't life-changing money that I made, but like, it did really well for me. So I bought my first camera with the money from Execution, because I was like, yo, I want to still like make videos, but I can't keep buying videos from
exactly,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like, but yeah, Execution was crazy, man. That was definitely my peak as an artist. And it also was like, because I would always try a lot of different sounds, you know what I'm saying? I'm from New York, so the bars is like that thing that you're supposed to do.
Right.
Punchlines and bars and presence and attitude. And I've spent a lot of time in this weird mix of South and West, but everyone here is a transplant. So whatever circle you're in, you just hear so many different things, right? And so it's not that Execution was this, test of a different sound or anything, but it, I was singing.
Yeah, man.
Singing a little bit, and it was
absolutely,
it was cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was almost like you kind of have like an R&B type voice. I was listening to some of your other songs on your SoundCloud. I was like, dude, this guy could like sing, bro. You got a voice, dog.
I remember doing the little like R&B hand in the video. You know what I'm saying? Like I was in my bag.
This shit.
For sure,
man.
Bro.
So you talk about like getting your first camera and like shooting your first music video for Execution, but then after that, you kind of started using the camera to like film behind the scenes type stuff, started like vlogging and just like with your homies on YouTube. And I feel like that when I was looking at some of those videos, I realized like that was probably like the start of like, hey, I could do video too, just like to show like BTS and bring people into my world. And even if it was like not something that you were pushing super heavy, it was like you were posting though. You were posting heavy, and it's like it's an archive now, which is awesome.
It's weird to go back and watch it, right? Especially after like COVID.
Yes,
because a lot of this stuff happened before COVID, where we were like out doing stuff, testing different types of content.
Yep.
Before COVID is when I first started streaming too. Like I would stream on Facebook when I learned how to do that.
Right.
Just, mostly streaming to myself because nobody's really in there, but all those different types of things. And it's just crazy to see like the whole journey, like from
full circle.
Like being in a music video and being like, yo, this is dope. Somebody is shooting a music video of me. To then like, yo, let me buy the camera. Let me shoot my own music video. And then how that kind of played out. Bro, it just evolved so quickly.
Absolutely, man. And yet being an early adopter to technology, I feel like that was probably something that really helped you out. Like even when you were younger, you were on AIM and all that stuff. It's just like you were trying to learn how to use tech.
Yeah, for sure.
Always.
Like, Like I said, I feel like my generation, my age range is like we're the first ones that grew up with the internet.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little bit older than me, they still were like, yeah, well, I'm not doing that, but like we grew up with that.
Yeah.
And to see where it's at now, that's why even with the streaming stuff, I pay attention to what the kids is doing, because when the kids do it, the adults start to do it, and then the companies start to use it. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right, man. And I mean, you were that kid, so it's like you see those other kids, you're like, those are the next, like that's the next generation, as they say.
For sure.
Yeah, man. So I mean, I love that. I feel like a lot of our stuff, like as like multi-hyphenate creatives, I like to call us. You know what I'm saying? When you could do multiple things, be in different fields, and execute at a high level. I feel like they end up feeding each other. So it makes sense that like you wanted to end up shooting music videos for the homies and like end up starting to like work with other artists and things like that. So then I guess moving into like around the time like 2019-ish, this is when you started like Work Wit Weezle, right?
Yeah.
So I guess like what was that transition like when you realized like maybe the music stuff is not going to be my path? And what was that transition like?
Yeah. It was, so I was in this studio, and the situation, again, this is like right around COVID. So like the situation kind of dissolved. It was the first time I left working a 9 to 5 to go like do something creatively full time. So like shout out to that situation. We was getting a paycheck every Friday. It was cool. I was getting paid to learn how to be better, I guess. And then when that situation kind of fizzled, I remember telling my wife, I'm like, damn, like, I don't want to go back to AT&T. Like, I'm going to get caught in doing this. Shout out to AT&T. I don't want to get caught, you know what I'm saying? Like managing a phone store.
Facts.
And like, I felt like I made so much progress, and it was like, damn, is this the end of the road for it? And shout out to my wife, man, because that's my best friend. That's literally like the biggest blessing I could ever have in my life. Because she was like, go spend whatever you have to spend from our savings and buy what you need and give it a shot.
Wow.
And so like I could spend some money, but I'm cheap, bro. Like I get nervous, you know what I'm saying? I'll call her 3 times, like, should I buy these shoes? Like, what should I do? So I remember that it was close to like, it was like $6,000 probably that day, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I bought my camera, and then I just started really getting busy, and I just seen like, actually had a homegirl at the time who told me the realest stuff ever. She was like, there's a lot of things I want to do for money or to make it. There's a lot of things people would pay me to do.
Right.
And so that was like, that's always been very impressionable on me, because I'm like, yeah, you know what? I love music, but it's kind of watered down. I ain't really like I said, I had a good song, and I saw like the power of the internet and playlists at the point. This is before you could pay like to just get on playlists.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
bundle.
Yeah.
That's what made execution well. Is like it got picked up by like the Spotify playlist.
Yes.
So seeing how that works, that was kind of like my first taste of an algorithm, right? And pushing, because we didn't invest in that. It just happened. So it all merges together, right? I get my camera. I know that things can take off literally overnight. And I was just like, I'm going to do any and everything I can do.
Absolutely.
I'll shoot this video. I'll take these pictures. I'll try to do this podcast. I'll mess this up, but I'm going to learn how to do it,
DIY.
Yeah, YouTube University for everything, bro. You know what I'm saying? I got my doctorate in YouTube University.
Yeah, man.
And then shout out to ChatGPT, my guy.
Yeah.
He teaches me everything else now. But yeah, that's what it was, man. It was like, okay, cool. I love music. I can always still do music. I still do. You know what I'm saying? I'll still write something, and if I put it out, I'll put it out. But this is my bread and butter. This is what I do now, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. And in that time when you first started Work Wit Weezle, you have a homie shot by Dub, and he shot a video for Futuristic in 2019, which is a crazy full circle moment because it's like meeting him back then and seeing how music videos are shot, and kind of like when you're first starting, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm sure that was a huge inspiration to see that, especially because he was big even then, you know?
Yeah, we kind of bought the cameras at the same time. So
yeah,
we did a mixtape.
Okay.
Me and Dub.
That's what's up.
Yeah. And that was another one of those things. His homeboy shot a video for us where we was just like freestyling. And he was like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna buy a camera. I'm gonna buy a camera because like I feel like I could do that. So I remember he bought his camera, he started doing it, and I asked him, I'm like, yo, what camera is that? I'm gonna get the same one. I remember buying this is my first camera. And then when I went into that studio situation where this is a whole different camera. It's my A7S III, that's my baby.
Yeah.
That camera changed my life. But yeah, that was cool to see.
What was the first one though that you and Dub
it was like
both
a 6400.
Oh, nice. The APS-C.
So it wasn't a bad camera.
Yeah, great.
You can still use it today, you know what I'm saying? But
for sure.
Yeah, my A7S3 changed everything.
Yeah, for sure.
You
I
know
mean,
what I'm
that's an A7S3 right
saying?
there.
There you go. Yeah, got the right one on me. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, bro. So, it was cool. It's cool, and like shout to Dub too, because I feel like he had that same thing. Like when I first met Dub, it was at this call center. He stopped doing music, and I was still doing music, and so he was like, you can see like he keep having conversations. Yo, listen to this, listen to that, and then the itch starts happening. Pause where he's like, yeah, let me come record something with you, bro. And then boom, like we just started. We made a whole little mixtape.
That's awesome, man. It's cool to have friends like that where it's like you can just make shit for fun. You know what I mean? You don't have to be serious about it, and just because you love it
too. Like when we see, because we don't talk as much as we used to. I'm busy. He's busy. He's got a family and everything like that.
Hell yeah.
But we'll see each other at these different places. Like the last time I seen Dub in person, we was both on the floor at the Suns arena. You know what I'm saying? I'm shooting the halftime thing, and he does a lot for like obviously the Cardinals and the Suns too, I think. But he was just up there watching the game. You know what I'm saying? He got his season tickets. That's how you know you're doing it. You got season tickets. I believe he got season tickets. But yeah, it was passive vibe, bro. Boom, let's take a picture. And it was like, yo, bro, remember when we was recording? And like, look at us in a whole different land.
Full circle moment
tough,
right there,
man.
dude. Yeah, it's cool, man. Again, like to come up with people like that too, and just like from the ground, and then you see your both of you guys rise up together.
Facts.
That's the shit, man.
Facts.
So now we're getting into COVID times, and I feel like that was a big shift in a lot of people's lives. You know what I mean? But there was an opportunity that you were given by one of your homies to come to District 5.
Yep.
And that was like a creative house.
Yeah.
Which is really cool because that was another instance where you were given an opportunity to be on like a payroll to a certain degree and be creating at a high level with other people that were also creating at a high level.
Right.
Like your boy Zeke.
Yeah.
So
yo, Harry, you're good, bro. Damn. Damn, I didn't tell him this. This is maybe the first extensive conversation we've had, bro. And he knows his stuff. All right, cool. Let's get it.
Yeah, man. No, so I just want to talk about that opportunity and like kind of how eye-opening that was to be in a creative house, not only be in that type of situation, but also to understand that you guys can do this. You know what I mean? It's like it's possible. And I feel like that's a life-changing moment for creatives in general, where it's like, oh man, I could do this for a living.
Yeah. Facts. It was. Again, I was working at AT&T, so for me to be able to get a paycheck to do this was like, that was already like a slice of heaven for me. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. And I remember like when I first got there, not much was happening. It was still like the formation of it, I guess. And so I kind of was able to like implement some ideas and some would run with it. But at the end of the day, it wasn't my show. I just kind of worked there, but it definitely was cool to get a little bit of freedom to create and kind of like conceptualize what I would be doing. Because when I went there, it was Work Wit Weezle. It was just the studio was District 5. But
exactly.
This is like at the beginning of me being Work Wit Weezle.
Exactly.
And yeah, bro, the situation kind of fizzled. Shout out to my bro Zeke. We both like kind of stayed doing what we do.
Yeah.
And we still work really, really well together, bro. We still, whenever we have an opportunity, him and I are doing shout out to Mixkid too. We're doing it's called Crowd Control. It's like a blend of a private DJ party experience, and then we stream it also.
Awesome.
So it's gonna be like super interactive with the chat. They'll be able to request songs. They'll be able to buy bottles virtually, like through subs, and then the girls will come out and yeah, it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope. So,
dude, when is that?
This is gonna be June 3rd.
June 3rd. Okay,
3rd,
cool. Yeah. So make sure you check that out, guys.
Yeah, it'll be cool, man.
Yeah. So the importance of like being around creative, people though. I wanted to talk about that because of that moment. That was kind of one of your first opportunities to be like with someone like Zeke, who's like also doing like what you're doing, like solo. He's doing his solo thing. So you guys are working together to create something. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I just want to talk about like the importance of being around people like that and making sure that like you're surrounding yourself with like-minded creatives.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, as a creative, you go through specific sets of circumstances that only a creative can deal with, right? Like, I feel like being a creative is maybe the most humble thing you can do in the world sometimes. Because if you think about it, a videographer, a photographer, a content producer, you're creating things for other people's visions most of the time, right? So when that kind of like falls back on you and you got these frustrations, or you need to vent, or you can't do that to somebody normal, because most of the time, like, shout out to my friends, like none of them are really like in creative spaces full time. But if I tell them like, yeah, bro, this client wants the third revision on a music video, bro. And you're frustrated. They looking at you like, bro, I gotta go clock in tomorrow. But you know what I'm saying? And you just gotta sit here and edit. Like
they downplay it.
Yeah. You know, like it checks you a little bit, but like it's definitely a humble thing to be a creative. So again,
Absolutely.
you just go through things differently. And different things kind of bother you, affect you. And then you also celebrate different things differently, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, bro, look at this edit. It came out fire. Again, one of my closest friends, my best friend of 20 plus years, Rob, he'll be like, yeah, that's cool.
It's like,
yeah, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking for the creative, but like that's not him. Yeah, that's
exactly.
Not, you know. But
That's
he'll let me know something's really tight. That's why I know I did something. Yeah.
Nice. Hey, gotta keep people like that around you too.
Yeah,
So it's just that's
sure.
like the litmus test. It's like you're not even a creative, and if you think it's dope, all right, now I know it's dope.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but
so it's funny because like we in my church we started this group for creative entrepreneurs that are like faith based, you know, but more so like for that reason, like yo, you go through this type of thing as a creative, it's hard to have a circle.
Yeah,
you know, and then it's hard to get different point of views. Usually, if you're a videographer, a lot of your creative friends are probably videographers or artists. What about the fashion expert who has a clothing line? What can I learn from him? It's kind of like that type of thing. So,
yeah, absolutely, man. And it's like you just keep creative people around you, and I think that's the biggest thing. And it's like from that opportunity, you started kind of working with other artists and things like that. Like, I mean, that's when you met like Sincerely Collins, Kyrie, and all those guys. I mean, you ended up working with Matty Ice eventually. So it's like I feel like all of that kind of bubbled from that moment. So
for sure.
So I guess like what was that like? Did you start reaching out to these people, or did like the company that you were working for like kind of put you in those positions, or what was that like?
So back during COVID. I get the camera. I shot a video for my bro Nova the Zoner.
Okay.
And real run and gun, like actually I think I was still in AT&T at the time. And we shot a video. I was like, yeah, this is dope. Blah, blah, blah. We got to do more. So we shoot little Michael content during COVID. And then he was at the time producing an EP for B Dot.
Yes, B Dot A Dot, right?
Yep,
yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So B Dot and Kyrie had a song. So he told them about me. They're like, yeah, they want to shoot like a one take. I'm like, cool. I got there. I'm like, yeah, we're not shooting a one take. We're shooting a video. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, shooting my shot, you know? I'm like, let's get a video. Like, we do the video. I edit the video next day, send it to him. They're gassed. They love it. Next thing you know, like the song's on a fast track by his management to like come out. Couple days later, I wake up and like there's a whole article on Complex with the video at the top. Yeah, bro. So it's like that's what started.
Yeah,
that's how it started.
Like, oh shit! Well, here we go.
It gets real quick. And I'm like, dang. Like, again, now you want to talk about like how algorithms can get picked up or whatever. Like things just get pushed really quickly. When it's go time, it's go time.
Oh yeah.
And I think as creators, because you kind of are like throwing shit at the wall until it sticks for so long, you maybe lose sight sometimes of like, yo, it only really takes one. Maybe not to change everything, but to change something.
Yeah.
And so I guess I've just experienced a bunch of different ones. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's like the one little twig that breaks that starts the avalanche. Yeah, you know, that's all you need is that one little twig to break.
Right.
It's over from that point.
Yeah. So to kind of answer your question with that, like, that's how I met Kyrie. That's how I met B Dot. When I got in District 5, I was bringing a lot of artists that I just knew, again, from doing music and then from just making my circuit around. And then when I was doing Work Wit Weezle, how did I meet Matty? I did behind the scenes for my boy Tyler, actually. He had an interview with Matty.
Got it.
Did some behind the scenes. Matty loved my work. He was like, yo, let's do something. We shot a little commercial. And I remember Matty telling me, yeah, bro, I'm gonna go meet Rick Ross in a couple months. Like, screw it, I'm just gonna take you with me. Like, you hear stuff like that all the time. Everybody always has a connection or this is gonna happen, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then, my phone rang and Matty's like, yo, we're going to Vegas. And I didn't know him like how I ended up knowing him down the line.
Right.
It was really like, bro, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, I remember getting a phone call. We're going to Vegas. We go to Vegas. It's like trying to find a moment. I still have the clip in the photo when he finally got to meet Rick Ross, which is like
for the first time before he was sponsored by Bel Air and anything like that. Yeah.
So like that was, it's a huge moment for him.
Absolutely.
It goes back to that humility thing, right? Like working, sacrificing to be able to do something for somebody else, but like that's really rewarding too. That's the lifetime thing, you know what I'm saying? He's got a great partnership with Ross now.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And you were there from the beginning.
Yeah, from the jump.
Yeah. So, and it's like to kind of keep going back to the District 5 time, because I feel like that's when a lot of the stuff that you're doing now started in that era. Because I was just gonna say like because you did live from District 5, which is crazy because you were bringing people on like doing a podcast basically.
Yeah.
And it's cool that like you were kind of doing at the beginning of the stuff. Because I mean, Joe Rogan and stuff, he's been doing it for a long time, but it's just like I feel like podcasts really started taking off like right around that time, like COVID, when people are locked in, they started buying stuff, doing stuff DIY. So you were part of that wave as well. So
we was early on the podcasting thing. Rogan, Brilliant Idiots, those were like our favorite podcasts. And so we would have live podcasts on Facebook. And true story, somebody got married as a result of our podcast. They like our homegirl Melanie, and then little bro Elijah, he was in the chat once. She was on, we did like a battle of the sexes, like opinions, male, female. And they like linked through the chat, started DMing. They just had their second baby, you know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing.
That's amazing.
Again, one of those things where you get rewarded in different ways.
So, are you the godfather, bro? Jeez,
right. Dang,
should be.
It should be. Nah, but shout out to them and nothing but love for them, because it is, that's when that whole thing happened in District 5, where it was like, I love being in front of the camera too, don't get me wrong, but I know like a lot goes on behind the camera. So being able to be the hybrid, conceptualized show I did. We had this one pilot for a show that was really dope. It was called Collab, not collab, but play on the name, co.lab.
Yeah.
Where again, I'm doing music at the time, so I'll bring artists in, podcast style interview, film us recording a song together, release something, like just being able to do that, really create and hone in. Again, now when you look at now and what I do now, it's like, it was all there. And a lot of it did happen from District 5.
It's crazy. It's like, it's full circle moments that happen. And when you look back and kind of see that, it's like, it makes sense that you're doing what you're doing now. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it was already written, dude. Today's episode is sponsored by Lantern Coffee, based out of my hometown, Grand Rapids, Michigan. If you're still sipping on that gas station coffee, this is your sign to get your life together. Lantern does coffee the right way. Whole beans, small batch, straight from the source. I personally get 2 bags a month myself. It's what fuels us here every day on Mars. If you want to taste what I'm talking about, go to lanterncoffee.com, use promo code ONMARS for 20% off of your first order. That's lanterncoffee.com, use promo code ONMARS, 20% off your first order. Treat yourself, because friends don't let friends drink bad coffee. Let's get back to the show. The next part that I have in here is getting to the point where you're like going back to the Work Wit Weezle. Because there was a point in time where you're like, okay, like I've done a bunch of work, but it's now like 2022-ish around that time when you're like, okay, like Work Wit Weezle is like my main thing. Yeah. And is this before you really met up with Matty Ice and we were working with him heavily?
It kind of overlaps. It's definitely me and Matty forging our relationship at that time. I'm on the scene a lot, doing everything. Like I'm everywhere at this point. I'm doing anything I can for everyone. Probably the first like branded videographer that was like cool to like, oh, I love your logo. And then I would go to events and like, yo, give me a shout out, give me a drop so I could post it, blah, blah, blah. Like just being super strategic without even realizing it. Yeah. Because it was free marketing. I didn't have money to invest into marketing and ads and like a typical videography company would, right? Like my thing was like, I'm gonna pull up, I'm gonna get y'all some shots, I'll DM to you later, but let me get this drop, bro. Cool. So now I got this person, that person, the other person. Yeah, Work Wit Weezle, shout out Work Wit. Like I made it cool, kind of. Yeah. And it really boosted me. And so it got me a lot of opportunities. And then at the same time, I'm working so closely with Matty and things are picking up with Matty. And so we're doing a lot of traveling. And I remember this one this one summer, bro, I had like, it was like I call it the Work With Weezle tour. Like I never got to tour as an artist, but there was like a 2-3 week period where I would like fly out, come back home, wash everything, pack the suitcase, fly out again. It was rough. It actually kind of
takes a toll on you.
Yeah, it definitely made me like want to shift focus a little bit,
like maybe
to
this
something more
isn't
stationary. Yeah. But yeah, like like even with me and Matty, we're in Vegas. Then we're flying out to Burbank. We're at the Ethica headquarters, meeting Boosie. With that, then we go to Boosie Bash in Louisiana, and like this hurricane's coming in, but they didn't cancel Boosie Bash, so like all the flights are canceled except the flight back home to Phoenix. So like we're there, and I'm like, I remember telling Matt, I'm like, yo, bro, like I'm married, bro. If my wife tells me I gotta go home, I gotta go home. I'm not gonna get stuck in Louisiana for a week.
Nah,
this was supposed to be a really bad hurricane. He's like being understanding, but also I could see like the stress in his eyes. Like, damn, bro, like this is gonna be big for us. I stayed. It didn't rain or anything. We met the baby, Lil Baby, again, Boosie, Mooski at the time. He had a big song. Just so many different celebrities being on, the stage at that college. It was like, yo, this is crazy, and this is just a result of like consistent work on Matty's part, on my part, and then also as like a teamwork. You know what I'm saying? Like it definitely takes more than one person to really like amplify something and make it kind of boost. So from that and all those experiences, I kind of always took that away from me. Like, yo, he plays his position really well, I play mine. And so the Work With Weezle thing in my mind has started to shift, because it's like, yo, I don't want to build something that's about me, because people don't buy into you as much as they'll buy into the purpose behind something that they can safely buy into. So if it's called Work With Weezle, that's about me.
Right.
Whereas Create Media now, it's very direct. You know what I'm saying? Like people can buy into that and want to be a part of that journey, and it's kind of happening. You know what I'm saying? So
so that was around the same time, like the Create Media shift and the Matty Ice stuff. All of that was kind of happening simultaneously.
I had Create Media. I probably, matter of fact, I could look at my phone because I got it in my favorites. The first like little mock-up I had of the logo. And it's like years old, bro. Yeah, it's 2021.
Yeah. So
and it just started last year.
So that was basically like while you were still at District 5. Or were you out of that?
Right after. Okay. Yeah. Because District 5 didn't last very long. It was a couple months.
Months. You did a lot of stuff in just a few months.
No, yeah, for sure. Like I said, I was doing whatever I could, bro. Like for sure. I did not want to go back to the phone store.
Yeah, that's so true, man. And it's like building up your portfolio to a certain degree. And I like how you were saying, like you were doing work for all these people and trying to do as much as you can, even though you probably weren't getting paid a whole lot. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of it was free, bro. A lot of it was free. And that's why I be telling people now, like, because I feel like maybe videography and social media content and stuff like that, it's almost like the new rap. When everybody started getting access to Pro Tools, everybody was a rapper, an artist, or whatever.
DIY, yeah.
Yeah, and so people rush the process now. You know what I'm saying? Even with music, like they tell you, you got to put your 10,000 hours into anything.
Yeah.
And so I see it happen a lot. Somebody gets excited, they get a camera, or they get their first shoot or whatever. Instantly, it's like, company name, I can do this for you. These are my packages, blah, blah. It's like, no, bro, you should never have a logo before you got a portfolio.
Yeah.
Straight up. You know what I'm saying? So like, just do the time. Learn with somebody, you know? That was the most beneficial thing I could do, was learn at District 5, learn after District 5, where I did some podcast work for, it was Real Estate Disruptors, where I met like Manny, Aaron, the ones who helped me with the streams.
Oh, wow. Damn.
That's where I met
full
them.
Circle.
Yeah. And originally that was supposed to be like very temporary, and I stayed because one, the company owner, Steve Tran, just amazing guy. And like to forge like a relationship with like a millionaire, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of gems that he provided to us. He invested a lot in like self-development. It was just a cool thing. So it was like, it was a job, but like I didn't have to be there. I was still doing Work With Weezle. I was just learning so much and doing so much. Yeah. And that's where we started streaming, even like more elevated than when I was before.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's a good note for fellow creatives that are, I got to get paid to do this. I'm not doing this unless I'm getting paid. You know what I mean? Especially if you haven't done anything, you haven't proved yourself to, the industry in a sense. Right. And I think it is important to build up a portfolio before you try to like sell your services. And that's something that's like, I guess nowadays, because it's so easy to just like film stuff and like, like do it or whatever. People think like, oh, well, I could do this as a job now. It's like, yeah, kind of.
Careful. Yeah, if you like there is such thing as the Better Business Bureau. If the company sucks, you know what I'm saying? Like you'll never bounce back from that. So it's like,
true.
yeah, you know, like you just gotta be careful. You want to take it in stride. So like don't rush that journey because it is fun, bro. It is
for sure.
It is a great thing to like stress and mess up something and have it not come. Like that is a beautiful thing to go through, even though it sounds like it sucks, but that's what builds you. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. That's why like, you know, we was joking with Zach a lot. We threw the show, you know what I'm saying? I know sore subject.
Yes.
That was whack how that played out. But like he was like, yo, y'all are so relaxed. Are y'all not stressed about this at all? Like with the production? We're like, nah, bro. This is what we do. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
We've only done it once. I tell this to my people all the time. If you do it once, like, okay, you did that. You do it twice, 3 times, like that's what you do.
Yeah.
You know? So like,
for sure, man.
When it comes to that type of level of production, again, me, Manny, Aaron, even some of like my side guys, bro, like I can always call them in for camera work, whatever.
Yeah.
At this point, that's what we do. Like,
absolutely. And it started from you guys doing it for free. And I'm sure like all of you guys, like individually was doing this stuff for free to be able to build your portfolio and to almost like really sharpen your saws as well. Cause like you're becoming a better videographer in the process. Like you said, it's like, you got to see the beauty and the struggle in a sense where it's just like, you're not making a lot of money, but you're meeting people, you're, you know, making connections as they say, and kind of like building relationships, which I think is the biggest thing in the industry. And that's one of those things too, that can really bite you in the ass too, if you're not a good dude, you know what I mean? It's like, that's probably one of the biggest things because from the moment I met you, it was just like, I already felt like I knew you to a certain degree, you know what I'm saying? Because you were super tight with Futuristic too. I mean, that's my guy. So it's just like, if you're friends with him, he's a very good judge of character too. So it's just like, but I'm sure when people would meet you, it was like, they would be friends with you before they would, you know, be business partners with you to a certain degree. Yeah.
I think your ability to be personable is important. Maybe one of the most slept on aspects in any, like just life.
Facts.
People, you should walk into a room. People should want to enjoy you being there.
Yeah.
And I think I've always kind of had that for sure about myself. Maybe it's the customer service from the phone store.
Hey,
like you gotta fake it, you know what I'm saying, to close the sale. But nah, it was so genuine. And it was cool to be able to like get into y'all's situation and start meeting y'all. And you know what I'm saying? Like that was cool. I could see like how close-knit y'all all were, all great energy and vibes. That's important for us too, like coming in blindly and just, okay, these are the people who he's around. This is dope.
Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly. I love that the ability to like be around people like that. So, but being a good person, it's just like in creative fields specifically though, especially in like music, video, photo, entertainment, just entertainment in general, it's just like so important. Especially the higher you go, the more important it is.
For sure.
Because it's bro. Like you never come back from that either.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Yeah.
Hey, Martians, real quick. I appreciate you taking the time to listen or watch wherever you are in the world. Over the last few months, the Martian family has grown so much. I could not be more thankful for all of my guests and every single one of you who continue to tune in every single week. Subscribers, ratings, likes, and comments all help us grow here on Mars. And it would mean the world. If you haven't already, please go to onmarspod.com/subscribe to subscribe on YouTube. Like and leave a comment, rate us on Spotify. All this good stuff helps keep the engine running to inspire Martians all over the world. P.S. Follow us on Instagram @OnMarsPod. Okay, let's get back to it. You're working with Matty Ice, and you did build something up called the Rap Arena.
Yeah.
So what really? I mean, kind of talk about like the origin because you were there from like the beginning, right? From that.
Yeah. Matty. We did. So Matty hits me, and he's like, "Yo, I want to do a show, but like a freestyle, like almost like a bracket tournament thing, right?" And this, you know, the biggest thing on his platform is like people come and they freestyle.
That's right.
So when I started working with him, it really like amplified like the look of it, the feel of it, and then the social media clips like really worked well with that. So then when he calls me and asks me, would you be open to do it? I think I can get you a budget for it. I'm like, cool. So originally Rap Arena wasn't Rap Arena. It was Matty Ice 16 bar freestyle.
Oh, okay.
Again, everybody would come and drop a 16 and that was like the gimmick of his show. So he hits me. We figure out like there's some other partners in the background for the first one specifically. We get a budget. It was just supposed to be to record like highlights of stuff. And I remember telling him like, we got to stream this. And I don't think Matty really understood what streaming was at that point, nor did a lot of people understand what it was.
Yeah.
But I remember calling Manny. I'm like, yo, this is the budget I have, but this is what I can get you. It's not much, but at least it'll be like at least worth our time. Let's try to hook up everybody else too, because I feel like this is something that we could do and do it well.
Yeah.
And it kind of puts us in a different bracket. And yeah, man, I remember not a lot of people really understanding what was going to happen before then. And to be real with you, we didn't find out we were going to be able to stream it until the morning of, because the venue was trying to charge us like a broadcast package, which was like $1,000 for access. I'm like, I need a Wi-Fi password, bro.
Yeah,
that's
it. Yeah.
And I think well, I actually finessed one of the workers into give me the Wi-Fi. I was like, hey, I just need a Wi-Fi quick. Yeah. Because we don't need no broadcast. Like, we got everything, you know? So the day before, we're in there setting up cameras, and I could see everybody looking like, what are y'all?
Yeah. Right.
Is this just to record? We're like, yeah. Got the Wi-Fi password. I bought raparena.com because I knew people would go to a website easier than they would at Twitch. So, yo, if you want to watch it, raparena.com. And I just forwarded the URL to Twitch.
See, these are little things that like people don't understand. You can do that.
Yeah.
If you own the domain, you can forward the domain to wherever you want.
Yeah.
So if you want to have your Instagram be branded with your own website, you can go workwitweezle.com/Instagram, send it to your Instagram.
That's it, man.
It's so
That's
easy.
It. Yeah.
That's what I do with all my On Mars pod stuff. So
yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah.
But the Rap Arena, so you bought the domain and you were sending people there. So you're about to do the live stream.
So this is maybe like 2 hours before the event starts, like the check-in process. I buy raparena.com. We forward it. Matty gets a graphic made from his designer. Shout out to Raw. Raw sends the graphic. We start posting it right as we go live.
That's
right.
So
yeah, like we go live. Now I'm walking around the venue, like trying to get people in there into the live stream, and we're interviewing artists and talking to artists, blah, blah, blah. And then I remember we get started. First artist goes up, starts rapping, and I'm like, oh, we did it. Like, that's the moment where I'll get excited about something, is like, not when it's set up to happen, when it's happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, first artist goes up, raps. I remember looking at Manny, I'm like, yeah, bro, this is gonna be it. And then it was like a 12-hour day. We did like, it was like 12, 13 hours on Twitch. We did like 3,000 viewers.
Damn.
The content afterwards, and I was able to get busy with the content and clips and really formulating what that looks like, how to clickbait them, how to tag them. And we did like 10 million views over the course of last year when I was running the social media.
Damn.
Did like 10 million views across all socials, bro.
Oh my God.
And just got so much exposure for all these artists.
Yeah.
And again, going back to things change overnight, you know what I'm saying? And it was just like, dang, bro. It was the first time I got to kind of like lead the strategy of something. And I had always desired to have like when it was Work Wit Weezle, it was a strategic content development company, right? Whatever. Yeah, I was like, I just wanted to be the brains behind an operation fully. So that was the first time where it was like, okay, bro, you're not a videographer. Now you're an executive producer.
Absolutely.
And then I got to see that through, and it did so well, bro. And it's definitely like one of the highlights. So special, like to share it with Matty, to be a part of it, for all the artists that were involved. It was like, you know, it was like the UFC for rap, for sure.
Yeah, man. It's cool to have like a big hand in that.
Yeah.
Because you not only like did it for yourself and for Matty, but it's like the people around you, your team, and then also the artists that you put on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I think like for the whole industry, that was, you know, a beautiful thing to be a part of. So I'm sure that's like a nice little like checkbox, like, fuck yeah, we did that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Facts, for sure.
And almost just like a proof that you know what you're doing, you know what I mean? At a high level.
It changed my confidence a lot, which I feel like you also need, especially when you start getting into like having a company.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to go into a consultation and you're unsure of yourself, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, it felt like, it was like, you know what? I do know what I'm talking about. I've put in enough time to really understand what I do. Why would I not walk into a room and feel like that? You know what I'm saying? Humbly. I'm not going to go in there and just start talking shit to people. No, that's never going to get you far. But like respectfully, it's like, yo, I know what I'm talking about. It goes back to the humility thing with creatives, where it's like, you create so much for other people. The worst part about being already humble by not creating for yourself, having to create for someone else, is when that person then becomes the expert in what you do. So they hire you because, yo, you're the best, but you got to do it like this because this is what I think is going to work the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's still like that's probably never gonna go away.
For sure. Yeah. And yeah, I think anyone that like has ideas in their head, they're always gonna try to like say, I'm sure like there's some stuff like with Zach, because I know he's very particular sometimes where like he'll have an idea and you'll be like, well, let's kind of bring that back down to earth real quick.
Well, I mean, with Zach, I could see why he's had so many great people around him and why he's been able to take like his brand so far is because he is receptive to ideas. He does trust his own ideas, and I get that because I would be the same way when it comes to certain things.
Absolutely.
So we spend a lot of time talking. You know what I'm saying? Like that's been a blessing to be able to forge a friendship with him.
Absolutely.
Get business advice from him. Somebody who's seen almost everything you can. You know?
Yeah, all sides.
So yeah. So it's like he's receptive. We still will usually do what he wants to do, not for any bad reason. It's just he wants to trust that.
Yeah.
And it's also like, okay, well, I'm not trying to, sure, I might have my visions on how I want things to go, but I got to remember like, this is still your ship.
Mm-hmm.
That goes back to the humility part, knowing the position you got to play. You know what I'm saying? When the situation calls for it, if I ever need to be more of a voice for his ship, if that's what he desires, cool. I got you, bro. Like in the meantime, I'm just going to put in work so you can like learn to trust me, which I think he does already.
Absolutely.
So if you ever do need me to take on a little bit more, I got you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I want to talk about meeting Futuristic and kind of go back to like when you did meet him in 2019. Did you connect with him at that point, really, or were you just kind of on the set?
He was shooting a video. Dub hit me up. Yo, pull up to the video. So really, it goes way back. It actually goes back to being like a teenager. We recorded out of the same studio, and this dude was trying to make like a collective of artists. So he brought me in. I remember Zach was there. He had the Futuristic chain gold plate thing, you know what I'm saying? Like just started.
Era. Yeah. What year is this, you think?
Bro, I
mean, he started probably like 2009, 10? Was it around that time?
It's maybe anywhere from like 12 to 15.
Okay. Damn.
Yeah. It's around there for sure.
So early.
But we didn't have much interaction, but like there's a picture out there of us that young with this whole collective of artists that this dude was trying to put together. And then I met him one time at one of his shoots, where it was like, my boy was like, yo, you know him. And I was like, well, he don't know me. He just from here. And I remember telling him like, yeah, Rerun Studio. He was like, whoa. Kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like it took him to a different, like, oh yeah, wait, we are connected through this weird way.
Wow.
And then after the Rap Arena stuff, when I had left Rap Arena, I had put up a post like, it's turning into something that doesn't necessarily align with me. Faith, family is important to me. And he DM'd me. He was like, yo, I respect that. I'm kind of going through that myself, gave my life to Christ. Let's link. And this is like last year, some point. And yeah, we linked and we talked about faith, family, business, being a man, you know what I'm saying? Music, blah, blah, blah. And it's just kind of like snowballed from there. It's been cool.
So that was like less than a year ago now at this point, right? Yeah. Because I feel like you guys have done a lot in the past, 6 months even. So it's like
crazy to think about.
Yeah. But he moves very fast. And I think that's the reason why he's able to sustain what he does is because he moves very fast and very efficiently.
Yeah.
But you can meet him there. And I think that's why you guys work together very well.
For sure.
Because it's like the team thing, like what you said, where it's like you play your part very well. He does his stuff really well. So, so that's awesome, man. So it's like from those early days when you did meet and he hit you up on DM, did he already, because he was like talking about trying to do stuff, like some different like series and stuff before you guys started working together. He was talking already about doing YouTube series and things like that, but it wasn't necessarily live streaming yet, I don't think.
Right.
Yeah, talk about that though.
I think with like how Rap Arena ended up working out and like people knowing the part I played in that, it definitely maybe elevated my brand and the trust in me.
Yeah.
And so when people would bring it to him, like, hey, you should get into streaming, because now at this point, people are starting to understand that streaming's the next thing.
For sure.
It's here, but it's not where it's going to be.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what it was. It was like, okay, I keep hearing about this guy Weezle and streaming. Cool. He hit me up. Let's talk about it. These are your ideas. Yep, we could do it like this. and then now we're here.
Wow. So it was like to come to you for the streaming.
Yeah.
Because I remember it was like it was not necessarily like to stream the videos, but it was like to do different series. It was like a weekly series type stuff. And I was even coming up with some ideas with him, and I was like, it was gonna be cool, but it was gonna be a big project. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that because it was shortly after that he ended up linking with you, and then he would have the conversations like, yo, we're gonna do live streams. And I'm like, okay, you know, like that's a big task. But like I mean, if you're ready, and he was so ready, dude. It was like, that's all he could talk about. He's like, dude, I might not even do music anymore.
No, he's a streamer. He's a streamer, but like, I love it because he's a streamer on his terms, right? Like, I show him so much stuff. I'm like, yeah, these are the IRL kids, or, you know, like right now, Kai's doing Streamer University, Kai Sinat, right?
That's right.
So I'm showing it to him, and it's funny seeing his reaction. He's like, yo, you love this, huh? I'm like, yeah, bro, because like, the face level of it is people are seeing it. Yo, Kai just rented out of school and all the streamers are there. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
I'm seeing that. That's cool. I really do study it though. And I've been studying it and the trends for so long. And like the strategic portion of it.
Yeah.
Nobody's looking at Streamer University and realizing that's probably Twitch on the back end help because Kai's not live.
Right.
So what incentive do you have to get a college, have all these He's kind of just a plug to the viewers. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Let's bring all of the streamers into the college. He's not going live. Twitch benefits because at any point during the next 72 hours, 600,000 plus young impressionable minds are tuned
live.
in.
Yeah.
What advertisements can we get on here? You know what I'm saying? What brands can we collaborate? So I look at it like that. Like I kind of try to peel back layers and understand why this is happening.
Yeah.
But it's funny to see him. He's like, bro, this sucks. They're just sitting here talking to the screen. I'm like, yeah, bro, like you can do that too. And it'll go up. I promise you.
Dude. Yeah, but he, like you said, he does it on his terms and he found his lane. And it was funny because I remember at the beginning, it was just like, okay, like on one day we're going to do music reviews. Another day we're going to do this. Another day we're going to do this. And it was like all these different ideas. And it was like the first day that he did the music reviews, he's like, all right, I don't think we're doing anything else.
Yeah, bro. That first day was crazy. We had a whiteboard. There's just numbers there, bro.
Yeah.
Numbers, check boxes. This one needs a clip. That one is, and again, like this is where I got to shout out my guys, like me, man. It was the first one was just me and Manny.
Right.
Aaron came later, but like me and Manny just from doing lives weekly. You know, we had this thing called Pray Parlay where we were sports betting and doing a live show, right? Then we had group chat. We're just from the understanding of the process and everything. We're able to like formulate the way to clip everything so like quickly that then by the time like week 2 or 3 comes and Nero gets involved, it's like, oh yeah, it's easy, bro. Yeah, all the files are going to be there, uploaded to Dropbox, send them to whoever you got to send them to afterwards.
Boom, man.
And it's just, now it's a whole operation.
Yeah, it's like it's a system for sure. And all you got to do is just press play on the system.
Systems and process, man. Entrepreneurial advice, you want to be able to do anything good? Create a system, create a process.
That's facts, man. Exactly, man. And making something that's sustainable and also scalable is the word. Right. And that's like a word that you hear in business, but it's very important if you want to run a successful business. Right. You know, you got to have people in place to be able to take on tasks and be able to delegate and, you know, have your Manny while you can be the executive producer type stuff.
Exactly.
And that's very important. And I think a lot of people don't see that on the back end, especially because a lot of times you guys aren't on camera, you know, unless you come in as like a guest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, couch guy. Shout out.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So I love that, man. It's like it's only up from everything that you guys are doing. I'm happy to be, you know, involved with all that.
Yeah, for sure. Bro. It's crazy. The other day we did 3 streams the other day. We did his producer stream, we did Chris Rivers, and then On Squad.
That's right.
So again, like to your point of creating something that's scalable, create the system, it's scalable. Now we're at the point where we're doing 3 a day.
That's a good point that you just brought up. That's I forgot to put on the notes, but the Chris Rivers streams and the Odd Squad, you're running those too.
Yeah.
So it's just like, and it's the same house, the same systems, the same like cameras and setup, and you're still using Nero and all that stuff. And it's creating opportunities for Chris. It's creating opportunities for the Odd Squad. And I love that you're able to like almost like take this opportunity and then just keep going. And it's just like, bro. Now it's just like everyone's winning together, bro.
For sure. It's like this is definitely the thing. I think everything we just talked about and all the different things I've seen and tried and been a part of, it's like, okay, this is the first time where I feel like maybe people could look at it and be like, oh, you're in the end goal. I'm like, nah, this is like, I feel like a draft pick. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like now my industry is ready to pick me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's like, we did all that work to get the understanding. I could have been naive and been like, yeah, we do this now. Like nah, bro, we're just getting to the point where now on like a mainstream level, I feel like we could compete. Like if somebody were to hit us up and be like, can you guys produce a subathon for 72 hours, a week, a month?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure we could do it. We'll actually do it better than like the people, humbly speaking, but we'll do it better. I just believe in the minds that are in my collective.
Yes.
Manny, Aaron, you know what I'm saying? Myself, my people around me. We could do it better than whoever else.
Absolutely, man. And having that confidence is super important too. Cause it's just like, you could always be the guy. I mean, being a creative person, it's always easy to be skeptical about your own work and always be a perfectionist and all that stuff. But, you know, recently I actually had a conversation with Tony 22 and he talked about basically like, he was reading a book and it was talking about how like making it perfect isn't the way always, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like having that like super attention to detail is good, but like don't let it hinder you from creating.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Facts.
it's like to that point of like you getting to this point where like you were learning the whole way to now you got it so dialed where it's like if someone asks you to do things for a 72-hour stream, you can confidently say yes because of all that time that you put in, not being a perfectionist and just putting stuff out just to put it out.
Right.
As like as almost like a workout of like training that muscle of like creating and putting it out. Releasing is like the final part of creating. If you're creating and never putting it out, did you even create it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No, facts. Nail on the head, bro. For sure. I can't add anything to that point. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, man. So I do want to talk about, you brought up the group chat. And that's something, when did you guys start that?
A little bit after Rap Arena ended. So group chat was like, the Rap Arena split wasn't clean.
Okay.
You know, a little bit of drama.
Yeah.
In the past, everything's peaceful. Shout out to Matty. That's love.
Absolutely.
Will always be love. But I think people saw it maybe at first and were like, oh, this is his answer to splitting from Rap Arena and, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't. It was like, yo, we don't have a project right now. We gotta stay in the gym. You know what I'm saying? We gotta stay. Yeah. So group chat was always like this, like ability to test concepts.
Yeah.
So, you know, we did a rapper pop the balloon. We did a cooking competition. We did Battle of the Sexes. We just did whatever like we could think of. And it kept us sharp.
Yep.
You know, clipping is so important to like streaming culture. So it definitely hammered that point in where it's like, yeah, you can produce whatever, it'll look great, but the clips is kind of what's going to do the marketing for you. So yeah, we just took a couple months. We kept doing that, and it kept us in the eye a little bit where it's like, yo, y'all do, every time y'all pop, you might not pop out multiple times a week, but when y'all do, it's special. You know what I'm saying? It's highly produced. It's super engaging, super interactive. And so group chat was lit.
Yeah, man. And it's almost just like a passion project just to do for fun. And also like you said, to kind of stay in the gym and like to do different types of shows as well, I think was really important. So you can be like, well, what if we did a game show? What if we did this? So then now if Zach wants to do a game show, boom.
Yeah. So it's
easy.
We've talked with him and I was always like, yo, did you see any of the clips? Like to get ideas, right? And bro, he's so busy. I'm sure he saw clips and stuff like that, but I don't think he ever deep dove into it. So there was one time where we were sitting there and we were kind of showing him everything we did because we did do a game show. We did it with game show battle rooms in Scottsdale. Like they let us stream from the business.
Insane.
And that was crazy. You know what I'm saying? We had all these different personalities from the city in there. And it was a whole game show. And he was like, y'all did this? I was like, yeah, bro, I'm telling you, we're good, bro. Whatever you want to do, we're going to figure it out. I promise you.
Yeah.
So just that adaptability. Like I've been so invested. Manny's been so invested. Aaron's been so invested. It's just like a perfect little, situation.
Man.
Everybody's got their place.
It's so beautiful too. It's like to start something like the group chat, you know, where you can have like, again, like a collective of creatives come together and just create at a high level.
Right.
And it's just like, it's awesome, man. Cause then it goes into everything else that you guys do too for like your business. Cause you're probably not making money off the group chat stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's for fun.
Yeah. Sub up, you know, it helps. But.
Yeah, sub it. Yeah, dude. So the next thing I wanted to go into is your faith. And that's something that you and Zach clicked with very early on when you first, really met.
Yeah.
And something that I was actually talking to him, I told him that you were going to be on the pod and he's just like, yeah, man, he always says that he's righteous but ratchet.
Stop exposing me, Zach. Yeah, I think I remember going to church and having this like, I feel like when you go into church, the stigma is you are perfect. You're a Christian now, so you're perfect, right? And it's kind of the opposite. Like the I feel like the purpose of your walk is to continuously prove to God that you're willing to try. You know what I'm saying? And then you kind of elevate from there. You maybe find a little bit of purpose in serving and bringing people to Christ and things like that. So yeah, the righteous and ratchet is like, I'm still me, you know? Like I'm still Weez. I just got to be careful in how I my shirt literally says brand ambassador for Christ. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't have a problem cracking a beer open right now and having a beer with Harry on Mars. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What is the beer going to lead me to do though?
Right.
That's where people got to understand, like, that's where it's a little bit different. But it's still me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'll still have fun. We'll still chill. We'll still kick it. I just, right now, my life, take my faith really important because of how well it's been for like my wife and I, for my friends around me, bringing people to our church, shout out Legacy Church in Chandler, like
absolutely
just finding a purpose in there and really understanding just why.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like why? Why are we even here?
Yeah. Absolutely. And having that, like the principal values of faith and that the church, you know, I feel like is a very good core value to have, you know, like that's, it like those little things that you learn in church, those are things that allow you to be a better version of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, was church and faith always a part of your life, or was it something
Kinda.
that, okay.
Yeah. I grew up in a church, not grew up, but like when I was young, my mom brought us to church. She got saved and, you know, we was little kids in church.
Yeah.
You're not really retaining much, but you are retaining some.
Totally.
So like Sunday school, you know what I'm saying? But there's a large gap in my life where I wasn't an active Christian, I guess you would say. But the one thing I can say, bro, is that my mom did a good enough job of keeping me in church to the point where I always was Christ-based.
Yeah.
Even when I would do well, I would acknowledge that it was like, I felt like it's God allowing me to do well.
Yeah.
And, you know, like to even play it out, before I left New York, I went to church. You know, you felt like, oh, I'm going to leave. Let me go to church. So I go onto my new adventure,
wow. Yeah,
with God at it. So I went, and this lady that was in the church came up to mom. She was like, I feel like God wants me to tell your son something. Would you mind telling him? My mom was like, you go tell him. And so this random lady comes up to me. She's like, I was praying and I just feel like God wants me to tell you that when doors open, walk through them. And I was like, okay. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. And I remember always keeping that with me, bro. Cause then as opportunities happen, it's like, yo, I'm not making these opportunities. I'm not necessarily creating these opportunities. How are they coming? I've never marketed myself, my business. I've never spent an ad dollar. I've never created a commercial. Hey, book me, you know, I might have put a post or something.
Yeah.
And so I look at just all these different things that I've been a part of and seen, and it's like, yo, I can't take any type of credit for that. I could put some work in to be prepared for when those opportunities pop up, but like, yo, bro, I ain't create these opportunities, and the way it plays out is so nuts sometimes that it's like, yo, that's gotta be God. So I've always kept that with me. Opportunity pulls up, talk to my wife. Now I'm at a point where I pray about it too. Talk to my friends maybe. It's like, yeah, let me do this. Let me do that. Let me do this. And it's always played out. On the flip side of that, and this is something where I learned this past year as I kind of get a little bit deeper into my faith, is like the doors open, sometimes those doors have to close. And so, you know, I look at a situation with like Rap Arena where everybody's like, why would you leave that? You were doing so good, but just didn't align. You know what I'm saying? Like it kind of actually pulled me away from where I needed to be. And it was stupid, especially when people might hear like, yo, Matty got the Rick Ross cosign. Yeah, I legit pray for him, bro.
Yeah.
I hope it does well. Why would I not want, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Regardless of whatever.
Yeah.
It's all in the past. One on the bridge. I got love for him.
Yeah, man.
So it's like, it might look crazy, but I believe God is taking me away from that. And I did that. And again, bro, it's not me. It has to be God, because it's like been the best thing for me. Not because I went away from that. It's just to show the alignment with God and having kind of like that faith.
Yeah.
And just doors have opened. Doors have opened. Even I'll lose a retainer-based client. Like, oh man, you know, bills, they don't stop. Even when clients stop, the bills don't stop. 3 more within the next week.
Insane.
What? Walk away, you know, oh man, I love music. Like it sucks. I'm not going to be able to be in something music related because it's been such a part of me for so long. But like, I don't want to do the battle rap and, you know, the drama, and like the selling points of that.
Mm-hmm.
DM from Zach the next morning when I pray about it. Yo, let's talk. Oh, you want to do music reviews? It's just like, you know what I'm saying? So like, I don't want to give that to anything else except God.
Yeah.
You know?
It's already written, man. It's already written. And I think that's like kind of everything that you're saying. It's like, you just have to walk the path that's already set for you.
Yeah.
And it's just like, as long as you're doing it like with a, you know, Christ-like mentality and doing things with like a good heart and a good mind and doing things genuinely and being a good person again, I think you're going to see success. And it's like I said, it's already written. So it's like you just saying yes to opportunities that you know are the next thing for you and going through those doors and figuring it out. I think that's so important. And it's cool that you've had like that compass of, you know, faith, especially as of lately, to kind of pull you away from things that might not be serving you. And then it immediately shows you the path that you're supposed to be on. Yeah,
for sure. Like you don't play with God because he won't play with you, you know? So
that's true.
Go into anybody who's like considering like a faith-based journey. Don't rush. It's the same thing like we just talked about with like entrepreneurship. Don't rush it. Let God work in you how he wants you, right? So even when you in church, one thing my pastor always like he'll preach about is like, if you see somebody and they was in a club doing whatever they do the night before, why would you judge them when they're there on a Sunday morning? They're here. Let God cook now. You know what I'm saying? Like, who am I? I'm not going to judge. Because again, we're Christians, so we believe judgment day, heaven or hell, right? I don't make that decision.
Right.
I got to worry about what I got going on to make sure my name in the book, right?
Yeah.
So it's like that type of stuff. So that love, I feel like that love and that acceptance is so important. That's been big for like my community in the church and everybody we've, you know, to see my wife have so many friends now. My wife's normally been very, not closed off, but not have a lot of social circle.
Right. Homebody.
Yeah. And she's the production director now. And
amazing.
Like, she's got so much love in church, bro. Like,
yes,
it's dope to see. And it's like, yo, God, you show out. My business, again, I've never spent $1 to advertise. I just had 3 months back to back where it's been the highest grossing month I've made every month.
Insane.
It's not me, bro.
Yeah.
I'm putting in the work, but it's not me.
Yeah, but you're walking the right path, man. And we're talking about Legacy Church is the church that you go to. And you're wearing this shirt, man. So shout out Legacy Church at Legacy Church AZ, I think is the handle. So when did you start going to Legacy? And because now you're doing production work for them, you're streaming their stuff. So it's like, I'm sure that relationship grew over time, but like when did you start going there?
Full circle moments, bro. My homegirl Melanie, who got married after bro slid in the DMs in the comment section. My wife sees her at Fry's and she's like, oh yeah, they used to go to church together.
Okay.
She's like, oh, come check out this church. They have their grand opening next week. And we went. The night before, I remember, because I thought the most boring part of church was the sermons.
Yeah.
But I was a kid, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, what's this man up here talking to me about that is gonna relate? And I remember watching the sermons that my pastor had on his YouTube, because again, the church was opening the following week. So they didn't have anything from them.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like where he preached at other places.
Gotcha.
And I remember watching them, and bro, I watched both of them till like 3 o'clock in the morning, back to back. And I was just so engaged. And I really feel like my pastor's got just a tremendous blessing to be able to relate, especially to like my age group, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I went into it with an open mind, like, okay, this is different. It's a little bit different, you know? And it just week after week, it felt like I'm getting punched. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is about you. That's about you, you know? And I remember telling him, I'm like, yo, man, thank you for preaching the way you do, because it's like been really insightful for me. He was like, nah, that's God. How many people would, even not intentionally trying to take credit, just be like, oh yeah, thanks, you know?
Yeah.
Made it a point to, nah, that's God.
Yeah.
And so, you know, our church is a very biblically based church. It's not opinion. It's not, you know, trying to twist and turn words. It is, this is what the Bible says. And this is how it applies to this situation, that situation. That's been amazing.
Yeah.
And so like to see my friends coming now and that growing, you know, the joke in the church, like my Bible punch card, my heaven punch card is filled up because I got so many people, you know, like I have a section in there, but like it really ain't even me. The most I'll do is be like, yo, you should come check it out.
Yes.
Again, I can't save you. You can't save anyone. That's God that's going to do that work in them. But like the most I'm yo, come check it out. Yeah. You got to talk about something cool. Let's talk about it. But I don't have all the answers. I'm not going to lie and be like, I have the answers. But I promise you, God will show you the answers.
Yeah.
Give him a little bit of time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't go into the gym, do a curl, and then now you got a bicep.
Facts.
It don't work like that.
That's a great metaphor.
Yeah.
It takes time and it takes work. It's
sure.
like actual work and it's internal work.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, bro.
So then getting to a point where you're, letting these people know at the church that you do production work and stuff like that, was that like immediately?
A couple weeks into it, I told my pastor, I'm like, yo, you should have a podcast.
Just like kind of joking or like being serious?
No, I was serious because just being so like, having the messages be so relatable and communicated in a way where it's like, yo, this is me. It almost feels like you're talking about me. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm like, man, you need a podcast. And he was like, oh, you know what? We got a guy who's going to do one. Actually, would you mind coming to check it out so we could like, because at this point here, Ray knows I'm in videography.
Yeah, okay. And
so, I went the first time and we just kind of started building from there. Now it's Over Church Podcast. We just finished third season, going on fourth soon.
Wow.
Last episode we did that actually comes out in July. They celebrate, they call it Capital C, where it's a day where we close the church and then everyone should go experience another church to remind people that our church is a small C in the big church of God, the big capital C. You know?
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah. So, but we do something online for the members. So that's coming out. There's like 2 other couples on there. It's my pastors, Pastor Delicia, Pastor Justin, and then 2 other couples that are pastors as well in the Valley. And so it was like a 6-person pod. It's like to see it grow from like the first, episode where it was like a little rough on production for us to now where we got, it's kind of lit.
It's a well-oiled machine.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
so
you guys
shout
are
out Over Church.
Yeah, man, for sure. You guys are streaming services as well. Is that right?
Yeah.
So where can they? Is that like legacychurchaz.com or
Legacy Church AZ on YouTube would be
YouTube?
the easiest way to find it. Yeah.
Okay, cool, man.
8:30, 10, and 11:45.
So that's Mountain Time.
Mountain.
Yeah. So if people are tuning in outside of Arizona, you know what I mean, because I got some people that listen in Grand Rapids. Shout out to my people in Michigan. But it's like if you want to check out his church and check out Legacy, man, go to Legacy Church AZ on YouTube and on Instagram and all that.
Yeah, facts. Check it out because we're working hard behind that production. All right, we gotta get a little bit of viewership. We gotta know that the job's being done.
So then with Create Media, I feel like this is the next chapters for you, and like because Work Wit Weezle, you are Weezle, so it's like Work Wit Weezle is like an employee under Create Media in a sense, where it's like Create Media is like an agency essentially. So I just want to talk about like your direction for Create Media and like what your mind is, where your mind is for that company.
So like I showed you on the picture, like I had that concept, that idea since 2021.
Right. So 4 years in the making now.
Yeah, and so and rebranded. I think it was like technically the beginning of last year. Excuse me. So I just had a desire again to make something bigger than myself.
Yeah.
Where I could build a team. And so it was like when I decided to rebrand it just made all the sense in the world. It's like, okay, this is something that's a bunch of my friends were telling me, oh, the name, like Create, it's so cliche. But I'm like, nah, you're not paying attention to the period at the end of that. It's a direction. You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
Whatever it is, you do this, you do that. Like, don't forget to just create. Like that's how I got here, is just doing it. No Nike pun intended, but like you know what I'm saying? Like literally. So Create now it's definitely gone from like videography to podcasting to now like it's what I would consider an agency, and that's the goal for it, is to be able to identify creators, maybe put a little bit of our sauce in the mix and give you a game plan that allows you to kind of flourish, right?
Yeah.
And so like we're doing that collaboratively with Futuristic right now. We have the other talent that we're producing shows and stuff for. But the goal is definitely to have an ability to seek out creators, give the game plan, and encompass everything: the brand deals, the production, the strategy, the distribution of the content, all of that.
Yeah, man. So it's like you're trying to like build up the portfolio past just like the type of work that you're doing right now too as well. So like maybe even getting into like corporate brands, like
for sure.
like for like retainer based clients and
for
creating strategy for social media, because that's so important now. And I think that's something that Zach's kind of mentioned to me, that you guys have a bunch of work and you guys are working with all these people, and it's like kind of we were talking about like all working together and like bringing people together, and I'm like, dude, you let me know, like me and Danny, like we're like I've been meaning to actually talk to you about it. Like we'll talk, and like we want to help you however we can, you know what I'm saying?
Same, likewise.
So it's like but I think that's so important though, to like have the vision past just like Work with Weezle. You know what I'm saying? And it's like create media, you're creating a team and you're creating like an agency, like you said, where it's like, I think that's like, that's beautiful. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to create for something more than just yourself. And I think that's like the goal for anybody creating. It's almost like, in a sense, it's like the godly thing of service unto others. You know what I'm saying? Like creating a place for people to feel like they can create at a high level.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of that in the deeper meaning of it, right? Because like even when I serve on Sundays, we're there all day, bro. We get there like 6. By the time we pack up everything, sometimes it's like 2, 3 o'clock because we're a set up takedown church. We don't have a building yet.
Got it.
So we set up at the YMCA in Chandler. So every Sunday, people are there 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, unloading the pods, setting up. Everything that you would see there on a Sunday is all set up that morning.
Wow.
Yeah. So again, the sacrifice in that is like just trying to show people a comfortable space so that way they're able to like ingest whatever God has for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with create is kind of like the same thing. Again, it's a direction. Create. What is your idea? Hopefully I can provide you with a comfortable space to be able to execute your idea.
Yeah.
In hopes that you can ingest what you need from the fruits of that labor.
Absolutely.
And so it's like everything is going to take a team. This allows me to have that team. And they can have their own thing too. Like, right. Like Manny has his own company. Technically Aaron has his own company.
Right.
And create is just like sometimes this umbrella brand for when we collaborate. It's cool. I desire to have it where it's like, yeah, okay, cool. I got employees. And so I'm working with some of my homeboys right now, and trying to train them in like specific areas. You know what I'm saying? I got somebody who payroll, I'm paying to do shorts. We're going to start with shorts.
There you go.
I'm going to show you how to do, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
that's definitely the goal with it is to have it as a company, an agency, truly an agency where this is what you need. That's what you need. Cool. We can get it done.
Yeah, man. Put people in place too that, you know, you've done all the jobs. You've wore all the hats. So it's like to be able to be in a position where you can be an expert to these people, especially if they're coming in not necessarily as, you know, educated in the field as you are, where you can show someone like, this is how I do clips. This is how I run the stream. This is how I run the podcast or whatever. And that's delegation and scalability and all these things that we're talking about when it comes to running a business. Like you got it, dude.
Create the process. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's only up, bro. So, I mean, shoot, is there any other projects that you guys have coming out soon? I mean, I guess with Zach, there's some things, and you guys just did, this is something that I do want to mention. Actually, you guys did the Dark Star show.
Yeah.
The release show for, not a release show. It was what was it?
It was a release and open mic.
Okay.
So yeah, he performed and then we did the open mic concept where it was like interactive, almost game show based at some points. And that was, you know, somewhat on the fly because I remember we changed the layout. It was like a Tuesday night before the show. And so Zach's like, yo, y'all are talking about this on Tuesday night. That's insane. You know, he's super uncomfortable with it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, nah, bro, we gotta at least test it out in a different way besides it just being like an open mic thing where people are just coming up and performing. So there was some elements to that and it was great. It was a great crowd. Like so dope to see like just love and acceptance like that for all the artists. And then, you know, we had some funny moments. Like somebody had to eat a hot chip and almost threw up on stage. Like that's the entertainment value of it.
Exactly, man. I love that. And I think like stuff like that, and Zach's super excited about how that went. And like we talked about it and he was just like, we gotta do that again. And he was so excited, man. And he just loved it, loved the energy. And so it's cool to be able to like be creating that type of stuff too, where it's like now you're not even just doing the stuff online, like you're doing in person with the community there.
Right.
So it's just like the people that would be in the chat are in the room.
Right. Yeah, that's like the big thing that I'm testing out with Mixed Kid and the crowd control thing in June. It's like, how can we take this layout and make it interactive? It might not be this in the long run. It might not be this thing that takes off. Hopefully it does, you know, and it does well for him. But it's like, again, making everything interactive with where things are going, right? AIM, we talked about AIM. That was the social media at one point. That was the one. And then, you know, Instagram had its moment, Vine, YouTube, just all these different platforms that have had their thing. Twitch is that platform right now. And it's just getting there.
Yeah.
Because adults are starting to pay attention now.
Yeah.
The 30s and 40s are tuned in. The kids been doing it. They've been playing games and all that, but it's shifting for sure. It's becoming more of like a social media versus like a streaming platform. It's a
Mm.
community.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now everybody individually is the social media. We
Wow.
are the community. And so what happens, like I said earlier, what happens once the adults start paying attention to it, the companies start paying attention to it. And I think the evidence again is with that streamer university thing where it's like, it doesn't make sense that Kai's throwing it. He's the face of it.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in the background for sure.
Yeah.
Because again, you're pulling almost 1 million in viewership at any given point amongst all the streamers. At least they're on the platform for the company.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, man. And like to that point where like Twitch recognizes that Kasna is the guy right now in like streaming, you know what I'm saying? So to be able to like get behind him and like that's only gonna help everyone. It's like he's gonna get his bag, that all the people that he's putting on are gonna get their thing, and then Twitch wins too. Win, win, win.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Like that's good business for everybody.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So then I guess just moving forward, then it's just like, you know, keep working with Futuristic and, you know, building the company up and kind of getting more retainers and things like that.
Yeah, for sure. I think right now, obviously, we do so much with Zach, and that kind of has its own area of opportunity to flourish into more, right?
Absolutely.
And I obviously think it's going to, as Create gets bigger, the list of services can get bigger, the amount of clients I can intake becomes bigger, and then the eye, you know, like I've been telling my wife, like the eye is open. Like I want to find somebody we can build, you know, truly build from ground up. Like, and it's not even to take attention away from Zach or nothing like that. Like we got our system, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about like the rest of the time. Yeah. Somebody who is a creator who they just need the rest of it, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like we got the rest of it. We just need the creator. Yeah. So the eyes out, like who can be that person, male or female? Who could be that person for what we do? So.
Yeah, and it's like you're looking, but you're not like you're waiting for them to. It's gonna happen.
Always watching.
Yeah, always watching.
I'm a Marvel guy. I'm like the watcher. You know what I'm saying? At this point, I can't be always in front of the camera, so I'm the watcher.
Yeah, exactly. And when that person is, you know, when the right person comes along, you're gonna know. And that's like one of those things where, like, you pray about it. You know, you can like it's gonna happen the way it's supposed to when the time is right.
Facts.
Like it's already written. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not gonna rush it. Stay watching, stay observing, not gonna rush it, and then in the same time still building.
Yeah, man.
So that way when it does happen, it's like, all right, cool, yeah, we got it.
Exactly.
We're all good now.
Keep sharpening the saw, keep going in the gym, so that way when you when the time comes, you're ready. It's like, stay ready so you don't have to get ready, guys.
Exactly.
Jesus.
Exactly. Facts.
Yo, so my fellow Martians, you gotta follow Weezle at Weezle, WEEZLE. Weezle on Instagram.
Sir.
Weezle. Go follow Legacy Church AZ. Go follow create.media_ on Instagram.
Yeah, shout out to the guy who decided to take Create Media as his handle and not do anything with it.
What a
shout
douche.
Out to him. Yeah, pray for him.
We'll eventually get Instagram to pull that handle off of him.
Right. We need that, IG. Come on.
Yeah. let's build up your social, so then we'll report it for being one of those like, he's trying to be me.
Right. Facts. Give me the handle.
Yeah.
Yo, I appreciate you having me on, bro. For real. This is the best interview I've ever been a part of, seeing or being into it. So like, thank you, bro. Because this was like incredible. Shout out to On Mars. Y'all make sure y'all follow On Mars. Come on.
Thank you, man. Yes, my fellow Martians, once again, go follow Weezle, follow at On Mars Pod and Harry Mars _, and we'll see you next time on Mars. Love you guys.
Bro, amazing, bro.
Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in and watching this episode of the On Mars Pod, and for sticking around to the end, man. I really appreciate you guys. You are the real Martians. Like this video, comment below what your favorite part was, what was most inspiring to you. Subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications here on future interviews coming out soon, and also follow us on Instagram at On Mars Pod. Love you guys so much. We'll see you next time on Mars.